you're all well. If you are new around here, hello, it is nice to meet you. And if you are returning, thank you very fucking much for coming back. My name is ALANNA and I'm a 35-year-old lady living in Scotland, and on this channel we predominantly talk about all things beauty, hair care, lifestyle, skincare, travel-y, bloggery bullshit, but with a liberal sprinkling of sarcasm and cynicism thrown in on top. So if that sounds like your kind of thing, there is a subscription button in the corner. Give the video a little thumbs up and all that other YouTuber bullshit. Apparently it helps to grow the channel, so we're gonna say it anyway. But this video is gonna be things I don't want to see in the beauty industry or from brands in 2023. I figured the content I'm putting out in January is all about kind of what is going to happen in 2023 in beauty. So I am going to have a little bit of a New Year's resolutions, what's going to be happening with the channel and all that kind of stuff video as well. If that is already up, I will pop it in the corner. If not, keep your eye out for it. Hit the subscribe button so you see it. But this is going to be, I've made a little list. I've got a new diary for 2020. Don't you just love the colour of it? I wrote a little list of all the things I do not really want to see from brands and in the beauty industry in 2023. So if that sounds like your cup of tea, grab yourself a tea, a coffee, a cuppa, whatever the fuck you like. I've got diluting juice today, and let's just get into it. I've made a list. Just a few things, just a few discrepancies. I feel like this is something that is very non-exhaustative. Exhaustative? Is that the right fucking word? I don't know. I feel like there's a load of things I could be like, I don't really want to see that, I don't really want to see this. But as we all know, things that people enjoy in beauty, skincare, style, fashion, all that kind of stuff is dead subjective. And what you like may not be things that I like, and vice versa. So this isn't going to be specifically like, you know, oh, you know what, I hate all that like full beat makeup, get rid of that, it's shite. Because I know loads of people who really enjoy that style, really love that full glam look, and if that is for them, that is fantastic. It's not that I don't want to see that from brands. I think there's lots of brands who aren't doing that. So this is more of a kind of the things, the tactics, the things I've been seeing and what I'm like, no, we don't need that in 2023. Let's just fucking forget about that. So the first one is same shit, new packaging. Now people who are particularly guilty of this, they're probably the worst for it, I have to say, NARS. The orgasm collections, the consistent collections that are just all orgasm stuff in new packaging. I will put an example right here. They had a new release in January and it is orgasm for spring, I want to say. It's like, you have done this until it is absolutely, it's so boring now. I cannot believe you're still doing it. When you first released Orgasm the blush I own. I think it is actually a really pretty blush. I think for summertime as well, it is absolutely beautiful. It's a reddy, pinky with a little undertone of gold, and it is just beautiful as a blush. And then they started releasing, you know, the Afterglow Balm in Orgasm, the liquid version I think as well. Then they had like a palette of eyeshadows that was meant to be kind of like Orgasm. All this stuff that was like Orgasm collection. Now the first time they done that, I was a bit like, oh, okay, I'm listening NARS, let me see what you've got. Because the first time they done it, I was quite like, I really like that blush. I'd like to see other stuff in that kind of tone. That might be quite pretty. But you have been doing this now year after year, season after season. I feel like it comes out more than once a year. And it is so fucking yawn. Another company that are particularly bad for that, I would say, would be Charlotte Tilbury as well, with the Pillow Talk. I kind of mentioned that in the mystery unboxing. I'm going to pop that video up here if you haven't seen it. Basically, all things Pillow Talk from Charlotte Tilbury. And I'm pretty sure like that's a term that she's trademarked, like Pillow Talk or Charlotte's Darlings. I feel like that's probably something she's trademarked as well. They also, so they have the Pillow Talk blushes, which actually I think are very, very nice. I think the Cheek to Chic Pillow Talk blush, and I think they do a Pillow Talk Intense blush as well. Absolutely stunning. Really, really enjoy it. But the umpteen million things, like now they have the Pillow Talk Push Up Lashes, which again, by the way, lovely mascara. Why did it need to be called Pillow Talk? Why could we not have just had it called something else? Like, she has the legendary lashes. Why could she not have made another name up for this mascara? I get it, it's like her thing. The same way that NARS has Orgasm. But I just feel like companies are just regurgitating shit that they've done from donkeys years ago now, and it's because it's their thing, and it is so fucking boring. So seeing the same shit from different brands repackaged, basically, I am fucking sick of. I don't know how anybody else feels about it. Maybe you're someone, for instance, I know NARS done a collection oh, what was it called? Was it Covered in Stars or something, or Covered in Love Hearts for Valentine's Day a couple of years ago? Again, if I can find it, I'm going to pop it here. And I know that, was it Cara C? Cara C bought it because it had a personal like meaning to her. It was like somebody's name that she knew, or something that she thought, oh well, I have like a feeling towards that, so I want to collect it as limited edition. I actually done it with one of the NARS collections myself. It was the Erdem collection, because it was Erdem that I worked with in London when I was working in fashion. I understood why somebody would want to buy something that's maybe limited edition, the new collections, but it might have older shades in it, and if it's a shade that you really enjoy, I understand why someone would want to then pick it up in a new packaging. But the orgasm and the pillow talk stuff, that's just 2 examples. Please put more below if you can think of more, because at this point in time I can't, and I fucking know there are. But anything else like that, just absolutely sick of it. Okay, so here's another one. Clean beauty. Now, I actually speak about a few brands on here who state themselves as clean beauty, or a clean beauty brand. I am not for a second going to say that those brands are crap, or what they're releasing is crap, or that the product is crap. But what I am going to say is, if somebody ever sends me something and they say, listen, we're a clean beauty brand, we would like you to say this, this and this about clean beauty, I will be giving them a hard fucking no. If the product is good, if I enjoy the colour of the product, the texture of the product, the way it works on my skin, then I'm going to talk about those things. Because for me, clean beauty is just cotton wool. It's just language that is marketing, and I find it to just be woolly nonsense, I'm not going to lie. So I have to say, there are brands, I think I've spoke about Bioma as well before, like there are skincare products or even cosmetic companies who are now starting to be like, we are clean beauty, and they use it to get into the clean beauty and Sephora aisle, all that kind of stuff, and it's just fucking marketing. I am not saying for a minute that these brands don't have strong beliefs and ethics behind it, but I do think a lot of it is marketing now, and I just want to see the end of it, because there are so many reputable clinical cosmetics, you know, all that, cosmetologists, that kind of thing, scientific people who are saying and showing articles where actually what these companies are claiming about the likes of parabens and aluminium and all this kind of stuff is absolute fucking nonsense. Like, it just doesn't actually mean anything. There are other companies that are also doing it from a matter of sustainability, which is a really good point, and I think it's came from a place of good meaning. But the thing is, for instance, I'll take Bioma as an example again. They released, I remember all the marketing leading up to it and everything on their Instagram, new like sustainable packaging, and I thought, great, so what would be sustainable packaging? And the way that they'd done it was like this, it was like the water without the packaging, so the product without the packaging. And I thought, oh, they're going to just bring out refill stations, so they're sold in Boots, they'll have a refill station in Boots. Do you know Asda have refill stations for the likes of your Herb Essences and stuff like that? So if Asda can do it, why can't Boots? Do you know what I mean? I know you can get is it the Lancome Idol fragrance, you can get that refilled, the bottle now. So if you're a company and you're like, I'm trying to be more eco-friendly, you can buy one of these and then you can refill it. Wild deodorant is another one. You can buy your canister and then you can buy the singles and you can compost them once you've finished and used it. That is much more of a kind of sustainable way to do things. Now there will be disputes in amongst that as well. I bet you there are certain things about that that also cause more energy to be used and things like that. But Bioma actually just released the same bottle of product without the pump on it, because the pump wasn't able to be recycled. So you're not refilling the bottle or anything, you were pretty much just taking your old bottle once you'd used it up, took the pump out of it and put it into the new exact same bottle with the product in it. So you still had 2 packagings, and they were wrapping it up in a nice big bow as if to say, we are now sustainable and eco-friendly. And I just thought, Jesus Christ, what is this? Absolute fucking nonsense. The product itself, quite nice actually, but I just was like, this is nonsense. Absolute fucking nonsense. I don't want to see any of that shit anymore. I don't want to see scaremongering from brands. I don't want to see marketing that's geared towards, don't use this, it's dangerous for you, like we shouldn't be using this, it causes cancers. All that kind of absolute fucking balls. So I do not want to see any more kind of marketing around clean beauty. Just bring out your product, try and be eco-friendly with it. That would be fantastic if you can refill and stuff like that. I actually think in 2023 we will see more cleansing bars. So things like, I know you get cleansing shampoo bars at the moment, but things like CeraVe, for instance, the cleanser in a bar form. I think the Inky List will be doing stuff like that too. I've kind of seen the CeraVe stuff on the shelf already. And that is because it just comes in a cardboard box. You can just buy it like that, and the cardboard can go and be recycled so easily. I think we will start to see more stuff like that from brands, which would be much better. But don't then try and market, oh, we've brought out this new wonderful way to refill, when you're still making the component exactly the same without the pump. It just doesn't sit well with me. Another thing, keeping on that kind of science trend that I don't really want to see any more of, is pH cosmetics. This is not a new thing, and I feel like last year it had a bit of a resurgence. You'll be showing your age if you can tell me if you can remember the Bourjois pH changing lip gloss. That was like one of the first ones. I feel like I seen that back in 2004 to 2007. At that time period, I'm trying to think where I was in my life, and I feel like I remember there being a pH changing lip gloss, and it was pink, and it was one of these ones that was like, you'll put it on and it'll change to the pH of your lips. No, 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 no. It's just basically gonna become pink. And all of these pH changing products are just gonna become pink. It's either gonna be a slightly darker pink or a shadder pink. It'll depend on the color of your lips, the color of your cheeks, the color of your skin. I just think it's fucking nonsense. Can we just take these and throw them in the bin, please? Now again, that's not to say that the products are actually nice and you maybe enjoy the colour on your cheeks, on your lips, wherever it is you're putting them. I am not saying that the products themselves are bad. It's the gimmick. It's the gimmick side of things that I'm like, just take it, shove it up your arse. And talking of gimmicks, another thing I really do not want to see any more of from brands or independent companies is collaborations, nostalgia collaborations. I feel like last year I didn't talk about it quite so much, but the year before in 2021, I feel like I was very heavy on the fact when people were releasing stuff from like Disney, 90s cartoons, all that kind of, I just was like, get it in the bin, get it in the fucking bin, I hate it. Now, if you're someone like my best friend, right? Hi Charlie, if you're watching. My best friend is a huge Disney lover, massive Disney lover. I like Disney. I'm not saying I don't like Disney. I'm not that cruel, you know. I am a bit Wednesday Addams, but I'm not that cruel. I can watch a Disney film. I have to say, all of the releases, the makeup releases that are just coming out, like Revolution are particularly bad for it. The Simpsons, then they always have a Nightmare Before Christmas around Halloween, and it's funny because it's like Christmas. I just feel like there is so much shite, so much bump out there at the moment to do with nostalgia. And I kind of get it from a standpoint of, if you loved something, like I particularly really like Alice in Wonderland. I like it as a story. Like I read the book, I thought it was great. I read the 3 books, and I do quite like the Disney cartoon. I then quite liked the live action ones that came out later. I loved American McGee's Alice, which was like a horror version as well. I love the story, okay, great. But even when companies were releasing Alice stuff, like Urban Decay years and years ago released one when the live action movie came out, I did not buy it. I still don't want to buy anything because Spectrum Brushes release a lot of Disney stuff. I think they brought out some Winnie the Pooh stuff, they brought out some Cinderella stuff, they brought out Alice in Wonderland stuff. I still don't want to fucking buy it. I enjoy the film, I enjoy the books, I enjoy the story. I don't want my makeup to have all that shit all over it. Now there will be people out there who totally disagree with me, who love that shit, and that's fine. That's absolutely fine. We don't have to agree on everything. I personally just don't want to fucking see SpongeBob on my eyeshadow palettes any longer. I don't want to see the Rugrats on my eyeshadow palettes any longer. I fucking love the Rugrats, but I don't want to see it on a lipstick. I don't want Chucky coloured lipstick. I just don't. I feel sometimes like it cheapens the products. It feels as if it's Claire's makeup. It feels as if you are in the kiddies aisle of makeup. And maybe you'll be looking at me being like, you're taking yourself too seriously there, like liven up a little bit, lighten up, blah, blah, blah. But I just don't like it. It's not my thing. I know that recently Avatar, who released that? I can't even remember. Was it Makeup Revolution? Is it Urban Decay? I can't figure out who's doing what anymore because everything just looks like a collaboration with something. In saying that, hear me out here. the Barbie movie, which is due to come out with Margot Robbie. If that had a collaboration, I know for a fact years ago MAC did a Barbie collaboration, like years ago, when collaborations were good, when they were like limited edition and you could only pick up 1 or 2 things and they actually sold out. I get it, it kind of makes sense. Barbie has a lipstick, yeah, she would wear a lipstick, she would wear some blush, blah blah blah. I get that collaboration. It's when I start seeing things like the Marvel, was it the Eternals eyeshadow? It's when I start seeing things like that, I'm like, at what point in the Marvel movies did they ever stop and think, do you know what I need to be doing right now? Putting some eyeshadow on. Maybe She-Hulk, maybe she would have, that would have tied that. But you get my point, like, it's not really about that, and I just feel like it's so mismatched and doesn't make sense a lot of the time. But hear me out, the Barbie one I would be interested in. One of my New Year's things is to try and drink 8 glasses of water a day. I know that's diluting juice. It's essentially just water. I'm trying my best to get it done. It is currently 7:30 at night. I'm actually filming this one. Jack's went to his bed. That's my new kind of setup as well. Again, I will talk about it in another video. But if Jack is in his bed, then I have time to sit and do this. So it's 7:30 and I'm only on my 4th glass of water. So I'm gonna have to fucking really try and squeeze in the other 4. Anyway, sidetrack, let's move on. What else do I not want to see in 2023? Overly descriptive names of products in the beauty industry. Again, a very guilty party is Miss Tilbury herself. I had spoken about this in the mystery box video as well, but I just hate when products, even when I'm like sitting here talking to you, telling you what a product is, and I start reading it, and then all of a sudden my tongue is like, blah, 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 blah. Like there's fucking so many words in the title of what this product is. Do we need that? Do we need it to be like overly descriptive? What is the word for that? I don't think it's onomatopoeia. It's onomatopoeia when it's like bang is bang, it is a bang. But there is another name for when things are overly descriptive and overly articulated and they just don't fucking need to be. I feel like I might be the kind of person that just does that in day-to-day life because I'm, you know, I'm a little fucking chatty. You might have realised that. But it's when, like, Charlotte Tilbury, for instance, I could go and pick up a product at the moment and you know it's going to be a gorgeous, flawless, effortless, bronzy, glowing, gleaming, sparkle, light, some, like, just stop. Stop with the nonsense. I think just in general, I just want brands to stop with all of the nonsense. I feel like, yes, we get marketing, but at the moment, in this day and age, when everybody really has social media, the majority of people have social media, and everybody understands how marketing works now. I feel like back in the day when, you know, fucking Don Draper was back there telling us to smoke cigarettes because they were healthy for us, like when people didn't really quite understand marketing, I feel like you could maybe have gotten away with that. But now, in this day and age, I think people understand enough that we don't need all this fucking bump. We really don't. Like, we don't have jingles for our toothpaste anymore, do we? Like, we used to have that, like jingles, and you would have like a song for an advert and it would get stuck in your head. And that was kind of the point. So you were remembering about it and then you seen it at a shop and you'd be like, oh, that's that one, that's one. But I genuinely don't think that is needed anymore. That is not the way products are necessarily sold. So I am so confused, and I, again, kind of mentioned it about Charlotte Tilbury, as to why they continue to do this kind of marketing. There is part of me that thinks it must still fucking be working. It has to be, otherwise why would they be doing it? But I would very much like to see the back of it. Another one that I'm just going to throw in at the tail end of that there is over-sexualised names. Overly sexualised products. Now, I am not a prude by no means at all. I'm quite happy to sit and chat, kind of tongue-in-cheek conversation amongst friends, absolutely fine. I am not a prude. But why? Why do some of my, like Orgasm for instance, Deep Throat from NARS, Better Than Sex mascara, the worst one for it used to be Jeffree Star, but I really think he is on his fucking way out now, which thank God. But these products where it's like just that little bit risky, like, do we need this? What? I even find now this is me maybe being a little prudish, just slightly, but I find now, see when Boots for instance, or maybe even Cult Beauty, I get an email through and they're like, oh, new launch, and it's vibrators, and I'm like, wait a minute, this is not what I ever wanted from any of these shops. But I'm not a prude about it. Like, I have drawers over there, there's stuff in them, I'm not going to kid you on. But I also think, like, the two, I understand it is to make sexualization, to make sex more normal, especially on a feminine level, because I feel like men talk about stuff like that and have done for years, and women it was a little bit like shh, don't tell people that you've got one of them, which is ridiculous, absolutely ridiculous. Like, women, you're entitled to do what you want, it's your body, explore it, be happy with it. Now I'm starting to be that advert, but sometimes I do get a bit like, what, why have I just been sent this list of, like, surely if I want one of those, I'm gonna go to the shop where you get those to find it online or otherwise. And it's sometimes just a little bit like, I feel like they're trying to make them really less garish now, which is fair enough. Like, they don't look like phalluses. Is that the right word? Oh god, where has this video went? But when you see some of them now, it's almost like the cool girl version of a vibrator. Does that make sense? Like, you see them now and it's like sleek, and they're not really, they're unsuspect. Like, they could be sitting on a shelf somewhere and you could think, that's a nice fancy ornament. It doesn't look like a big cock on your thing or anything like that. But I'm just like, why are we being sold this stuff through Cult Beauty and Boots as well? I know it's to do with self-care and well-being and sexual wellness and all this kind of stuff. I get it logically, but I'm kind of like, I don't think I need it. I think if I want to go and find that stuff, I'll go and find it. I don't need Boots to be sending me emails about it. The next thing I think goes without saying, overly doctored images. I don't think we're seeing quite as much as we used to in the early 2000s. I think there was a lot of airbrushing going on. There was a lot of like making lashes look a lot fuller by using false lashes and saying it was just the mascara, all that kind of stuff. I don't think we're seeing it quite as bad as we were at the height of the 2000s and 2010s. I think that was probably the worst decade for it, along with the size zero trend and all that kind of stuff. But what I will say is that I do still see brands doing things like obviously photoshopped swatches. Things where it's like they've just took swatches of all the colour range and put it on this arm, like, you know, my colour arm, like a white arm. They've put it on the arm of someone who's Asian and has more sallow skin, and then they put it on the arm of someone who is black. And all of the swatches are the same. And obviously they would not show up the same colour on those different skin tones. And it fucking drives me mad. I cannot stand seeing that kind of stuff. If you are gonna show products and what colours they come in, show them in the bottles if you want to, and if you want to show it on skin, do it properly. It is driving me fucking bananas. And I think after all we've learned about photoshopping and airbrushing and not selling false advertising to people, after all we've learned in those decades, why are people still doing this? Why are brands still fucking doing this? It's just unacceptable. And along with that, I'm going to throw this in there because it was something I seen really recently. If I can find it, I'm going to put it here. I don't know if I will be able to find it, but NARS were basically selling the lipsticks that I've frequently talked about on here over the last 6 months, I want to say. The Power Matte lipsticks. I have it in Dragon Girl and what's the new one that I've got? It's over there. I can't be bothered going picking it up. If I find the name, I'll pop it on the screen somewhere. I have it in 2 colours now, and I feel like they're really, really nice lipstick. I think it's a lovely lipstick and the colours are quite nice. But they are now using AI generated models to show these lipsticks on. And I think one of the girls, well, the AI models that I'd seen was an Asian looking AI model, and there also was somebody who was a black looking AI model and somebody who was white. And I'm like, okay, I'm all for diversity. I'm all for diversity, but let's just fucking use humans. Let's just use humans. How do you know that colour is going to be true to that AI creation when you see it in a shop? Is it going to be the same when it's not even on a real pair of lips? Maybe someone who's a lot smarter than me, who does some sort of digital design or creation, that kind of stuff, would be able to answer that question. But I just can't help but feel like, again, this is false advertising. This is taking a step backwards. I am not against the AI creation thing, the Lensa app. Like, I had a little bit of fun with it. It's a good laugh. More just the fact that if you are advertising something like a blush, like a lipstick, even a mascara, how on earth can you see how that product actually works on a being that is not actually a being? How can you do that? So for me, this is absolutely not something I want to see. You know, these AI digital influencers, like, I know it's like big business. If you go onto Instagram and you look up some of the most followed influencers, some of them are AI generated. They're not real people. And I guess for different reasons, it might be more of a, they're putting a lifestyle out there, you know, they're wearing, I don't know, a pair of trainers that everybody wants. With things like that, with fashion and trainers, do I feel the same about it? To a certain degree, yes, because again, that body is not a real body, it's not a real person. But at the same time, when it comes down to colour and texture with things like beauty and skincare, how can it possibly be advertised by something that is not real? It just makes no sense how we can totally slag everything that was happening in the late 90s up to the 2010s and maybe even a little after, and we are thinking this is okay and this is the way we want advertising to go. Blows my tiny mind. I only have 2 left, and basically one is celebrities. Celebrity branding, skincare, beauty, whatever it may be. The most recent one that I've seen a lot of is House Labs, which isn't new. I know that Lady Gaga had set that up a good few years ago. Originally released it on the likes of Amazon, I want to say, and it was mince, it was crap. So actually what I've seen her do lately and what I've seen the brand doing lately seems a lot more on keeping with Gaga and her style and what she's all about, and I quite like that. There are other brands like Fenty, for instance, that I think have worked really well. Vive as well. Would you say Vive is like a celebrity brand? It's more of an influencer brand, I suppose. But I feel like there are some that work really well and have done it really well. But I think there are other ones, like even Ariana Grande and R.E.M. Beauty. I don't like it, it's not my thing. I get where it's coming from, I understand it's meant to be nostalgic, again, for that 2000s period. But it's not for me, I just don't like it. But I understand, like, Ariana Grande's a pop star, she wears makeup, like, she has style that people will want to emulate. Like, I understand that. It's when, like I've already explained, people like Brad Pitt, even people like, there was a Scarlett Johansson brand came out, wasn't there? It was like skincare. Oh, don't even get me started on Gwyneth Paltrow and Goop and all the absolute nonsense that she chats about. Vagina candles, for instance. Yeah, like stuff like that, celebrity kind of collaboration company and things that people want to put out. No, just no. Let's not have any of that in 2023. That would be lovely. Thank you. And finally, I was going to say something along the lines of brands that aren't releasing enough of a shade range. I was going to say something like that, but I thought it seemed really kind of inappropriate of me, a little bit naive of me to say, because it doesn't affect me directly. But what I am kind of sick of seeing is companies who say something is a universal shade or something is for all skin types. Because let's just fucking face it, that's not possible. And it actually goes the same for clothing as well. Remember you would get one size fits all? No, just no. So I do want to see a little bit more in the likes of shade ranges. I think that companies have been trying their best to get that right. But I think depending on the product as well means that you don't necessarily need to have 40 shades like Fenty, for instance. I think it's maybe even more than 40. But you don't always need to have the massive shade range. But if you're releasing something like 13 of a collection, don't let it be in like 9 white shades and then 4 that maybe 2 are kind of sallow and then there's that one black one on the end somewhere. Like, that is unacceptable. But at the same time, I don't think the companies need to be releasing such a wide shade range that it's like 50 odd foundations and concealers. I think that depending on the product, because if it's a slightly sheerer thing, depending on the type of thing, I think if it's a different kind of product, a skin tint for instance, then you can get away with slightly less, but you still need to be inclusive in that less, you know? Like, I still think people need to realise that we can't have a collection of 13, as I say, and 10 of them are white and the other 3 are for the other 3 people that they think exist and buy makeup in this world. So that is my rundown of everything I don't really want to fucking see from brands in 2023, and I'm sure there could have been a million more things. That was just kind of what was on the top of my head this afternoon when I wrote the list. If you have anything that you really do not want to see in 2023, please list it down below, because I would love to have a chat about this. This is the kind of stuff that gets me really chatty and fired up and loves to talk about within the beauty standards, beauty industry, all that kind of stuff. So let me know what your thoughts are for 2023. Also let me know what you think is going to come out for 2023. I am going to have another video up regarding that as well, and I will see you all in the next one. Bye.